Hello and welcome to the Experiencing Love podcast. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I'm so glad that you're here. It may not seem that different to you, but I am recording this one a little bit differently today. Rather than waiting until the end of the day and doing it sort of recap style, I have plans later tonight, and I want to make sure I get an episode out on time for you. So I'm recording this before my plans, earlier in the day. And the recap is actually coming from some thoughts and some insights that I had last night right before bed. It's not the first time I've talked about my late night insights. These are just now more fresh, a little more recently marinated, I'll call it, in my brain from the sleep that I got last night. And there's a couple things that came up that I think are worth bringing up. I always believe that everything happens for a reason. There are no mistakes. The books we read at just the right time, the billboards we see, the music we hear, it all comes to us when we're supposed to hear it, when we need it. I'm very in tune with listening for signs and looking out for signs. Signs from God, signs from the universe, on my path, on the direction I need to go in, on feedback or my ideas and thoughts. Some of my favorite does come from music, listening to lyrics. I love listening to songs that I don't normally listen to and hearing something that I don't normally hear, but noticing that it's really relevant to what's going on. So last night I was doing my reading, and I do read a lot of books that I've read before. I read a lot of these books that I see as like chapter a day type books. One of them is a 3-book series by Austin Kleon. I'm currently reading Steal Like an Artist, and it's a couple short pages that I read every day, making up one chapter. And yesterday's chapter felt relevant. I first read these books about 2 years ago, and I'm rereading them now because they're all about what I see as creativity, creating stories, creating art, writing, recording, all of that stuff. And yesterday's chapter was called Write the Book You Want to Read. And it's all about creating content and creating products, creating services, creating the things in the world that you want, that you would use. And when I read it, I had to ask myself a very honest question. And it's that of all the things I'm creating, which of them would I actually use and want to use and pay for to use? And which ones are more led by business-minded thinking? And it's not something I would actually buy and use, but it's something I believe will earn me some money. And I noticed that what I want to create, I'm not exactly selling. Or should I say, what I want to consume, I'm not exactly selling. I ask myself, would I want to pay for a mastermind group? Would I want to pay to be in a group? And maybe part of me, yes, if I was convinced, but right now, I don't. And I could tell because I'm not searching out mastermind groups. I've created free ones with friends, and they're incredible. And because of that, why would I need to find one that I have to buy into? And I do understand the argument that you're buying into a group of people that are willing to invest in themselves. Invest in themselves in that way to be around certain types of people. But if I'm not willing to buy that now, then technically that certain type of person is not exactly me. Not yet. Not at this stage or phase of my life. And so I started thinking about what is something that I currently consume. I consume podcasts. One of the reasons I love doing this. I consume books, and I consume a lot of videos. I also consume streams, live streams. I don't really watch as much short form content unless it's of the people that I already consume their longer form content. And I started going down this path, and I had this brief moment where I was actually afraid. I was afraid at the possibility that, at least right now, coaching and masterminds aren't the right path for me. They aren't the business I'm meant to create right now. And it scared me for the reason that I really thought this was my path, and this was the business path, that I was meant to succeed at. I often hear different business owners and influencers even talking about how their first 2, 3, 4 businesses failed. That they went all in, they put in all their heart, and it didn't work out. And this isn't the first time I felt this, but I wanted to be different. I wanted to be the one to say that this is my first business and it is working out. But I also acknowledge that I don't know that many people with that many stories that say, this is my first business, it's working out, and they're truly, truly successful. Many of the very successful people I know have failed before and have followed a path different than the one that they're on now, and they've learned to pivot. I talk about change and embracing change all the time. That doesn't make it any less scary when it's a big change that pops up. But it's not about having fear or not having fear. Now that's bravery. What's more important to me is courage, which is when fear does pop up, do you take the steps to overcome it anyway? Do you do what's scary anyway? I was afraid that I was wrong and I have to try something new because I know that I'm not giving up. No, I am not giving up. I'm staying persistent because I will find a way to make my path work. I know I'm still on my path, and I've been saying that a lot, the word path, and it's going to start sounding fake very soon, like a fake word, I mean. And I realized that maybe the direction I'm meant to go in is more towards content creation than I realized. And not short form content to grab someone's attention and send them to some website, but content for content's sake, to just create videos and podcasts and streams that people just enjoy staying at and talking with other people. While it may not be in masterminds, the reason I chose masterminds is because my focus has always been on building a community. I've always wanted to build a community of friends, of brothers, of sisters, where we're all in it together. We all support each other. I still believe that I will have masterminds in the future, paid ones, and it'll come at a time when my community has grown and there's those who truly want to learn more about what I have to offer, what I can teach. The coaching path I've already followed and the mastermind path I've already followed are not things I regret because I learned so much from them already. They've influenced who I am to my core, and everything does happen for a reason, so I was meant to get to this point right now. Maybe this is my story, that this business path failed and I had to pivot. But maybe that's just another sign that when I do figure things out and I do get rolling in the future, I will be successful. I will be successful financially, but I'll also be successful in relationships, in my physical health. I'll travel and I'll just enjoy my life. I don't need to be number one because that also comes with a lot of pressure. I just want to leave my corner of the world better than I found it. So this last part would just be a note for me in the future. On this day, April 18th, 2025, what do I see myself doing in the future? I see myself having interesting conversations with interesting people. I've always seen myself interviewing others and being interviewed by others. Funny enough, I also see myself gaming. Rather than try to stuff that part of me away into a closet, quite literally, I would stuff my old PC and Xbox into a closet so I don't see it. I see myself embracing that part of me and using it to bring out the joy in myself and the joy in other people. I still see myself doing mastermind groups, mastermind calls, but not a big public affair, just a small intimate group with people who truly want to level up their life to the next level. What else do I see my life being like? Soon I will be debt-free. Soon I will move out. I will be able to afford a new car. Travel's not number one on my list of priorities, but I know one trip that is so deep in my heart that I want to do, and it's a road trip across the country because I want to experience more and I want to see the stars. Living in New Jersey, light pollution is pretty bad and I don't get much of the sky, and I know that there's so much more to see. So I don't need to do a big trip, but I would love to see the sky. So all of that is coming and so much more. And similar to the last 107 days, I could be confident about this and then it pivots again. It could change. And if we're going to be very honest, rather than saying could change, it's more realistic to say it will change. It will either become clearer, sharper, or different altogether. Only time will tell. And it's time now for me to take the steps forward, one step at a time. I'm doing what I must to get to where I need to be and sharing love along the way. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. It's actually daytime when I'm recording this, so I can say that. It might not be when you listen to it. Remember to always fill up with the love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.